Welcome to World Patriot Radio, where we are all patriots wherever we are in this wonderful planet that we live in and on. As long as we believe in nations with borders and sovereignty, and we love our neighboring nations and our neighbors. Let's all get along because we are all, most of us, are God's children and we are good people. We need to start realizing that, and that there are very powerful people that want to control us. Let's talk about all that tonight on World Patriot Radio. Welcome to World Patriot Radio, where you can be a patriot wherever you are on this wonderful planet that we live on. As long as you believe in nations with sovereignty and borders, and you love your neighboring nation and your neighbor, and you believe in freedom. Because that's what's at stake right now. Either you believe that you are a free human being, that you have freedoms, God-given freedoms from our Creator, and that includes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, liberty is the freedom to speak. Our freedoms, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the freedom to bear arms. Because are we actually free if we are not allowed to defend ourselves? Because we have the freedom of life. That is one of our rights. We have the right to live, just like a child does in the womb. They have that right. If you believe in life, if you believe in science, because a child is created at inception, a living organism that evolves and grows into a human being. Within 6 weeks, there's a heartbeat. 8 weeks, there are little hands and feet. And throughout the birth of this human being, they will experience many emotions, suck their thumb, experience pain when the mother that is carrying the child experiences it. It is the beginning of life. And we should respect that, just like we should understand what freedom is, and that is being taken away from us right now by these world elites, these bankers and evil people that all they care about is consuming you and using you. They do not care about human life. They do not have a soul. They worship Lucifer. Whether you believe in Satan or Lucifer, it doesn't matter, because they do. Just like you may believe in God, they have their God, and that God is very evil. The amount of human trafficking that goes on right now in the world is unbelievable, and the average person out there doesn't want to know. That's sad. That's sad because we all need to stand up for not just our freedom to live, but all the freedoms that we believe in, that those innocent children and adults too, because they are selling human beings of all ages, but particularly the young, the children of the world, that they are literally using for evil. It's horrible, and people that don't want to know out there, because there are many, they don't believe it because it's so evil, they can't imagine. They don't want to think about a world that exists like that. It's just too much for them. Well, then you need to go study and research and figure out for yourself if it's real or not. Because if it is, and I believe it is, I've done a lot of research, a lot of reading on it. It is out there. The information is out there. Just look at all the arrests that are happening right now. People that are involved in pedophilia and child porn and sex trafficking, sex slavery. It's massive, and there are many, many hundreds, thousands of arrests going on around, not just our country, but all around the world, because this is a world issue. We've never stopped being enslaved. They try to tell us, oh, it's, we have to have this white guilt because we brought the African slaves here. Well, this is true, but it is true that slavery's been around for a long time. In fact, there's more human slaves right now than any time in history. So I think we should worry about now dealing with that instead of trying to blame one group of people, because we were all slaves. We are slaves right now. Most people don't even realize it. They just think of us as commodities. They literally sell our debt. They own us. So we've actually never been free. And so when we wake up, I hope people want to fight for that freedom. I hope they really want to look and try to understand what is happening right now. Because this is not an ordinary time in history right now. It is going to be a grand part in history because there is so much at stake right now. And if people truly do awaken, then we will be a force of nature. All we have to do is come together as human beings and demand justice peacefully. We need a voice. We need to demand that voice. They don't want us to travel now. They don't want us to go to bars where we can talk. You can go to a gym, but you got to wear a mask still, at least in California here. The blue cities, it's always going to be the tyrannical puppet governors that are being told what to do, where all the abuse is and evil, because all they care about is destroying the economy here. And they don't want the truth to get out, so they don't want us to talk or worship. Can't go to church, can't go to a bar. Can go to a gym with a mask, but you can't go to the sauna where people gather and speak. Any place where people are actually going to be smiling at each other and having human interaction, no, they can't allow that. They want you to be afraid and, be in your home and be afraid of the world. Not just of disease, but a civil war. They've got Antifa and BLM rioting, burning buildings down, trying to create a race war that they create. It's all a production. it's all something that they actually put together to keep throwing the fear at you and controlling you. But just open your eyes and really look at what's happening. All the shootings in a row, orchestrated protests, rioting right after it. Look at the video. There's a lot of interesting things going on there. It seems to me that they didn't even handcuff this young man. They pretend like they are, and then they push him in there, and apparently this gun is on camera, exactly positioned. But you don't hear any shot. The individual says, taser, taser, so they made a mistake. Picked up the other gun like it even feels the same. It's the same shape. Really? Well, but where was the shot? And then the car drives away. I even heard actually what happened. Did he pull over to the side and was he bleeding and went to the hospital? What? He just died. And interesting enough, he was in class with George Floyd's girlfriend's class. I guess she was a teacher. So they all knew each other. Isn't that odd? I don't know, maybe a coincidence. But it all seems very orchestrated, where they're all set, for all these protests. And then the gun control comes out. Biden is just using executive order to take away our Second Amendment freedoms. It is really about enslaving all of us. We've been enslaved, but now they know we're waking up, so they got to crank down on their grips of us and use mind control and more fear. Complete control. Because that's what they've been doing. Taking over your freedoms and control over your mind. Telling you lies in schools, on the media, in the movie theaters, on the papers, in the books, everywhere. Now there are truths, of course. There is a balance in the world, and it's up to us to decide and to research and honestly look at both sides and think critically and logically and try to be open with an open heart and an openness as a critical thinker, as a scientist would question and look into things and really weigh them out and be honest with yourself and really take a good look at what is real and what is not. Because it's all of our responsibilities. You can't just say, oh, I don't want to get involved. This rule about politics and values, we can't talk about religion or politics. Who made up that rule? Who decided you can't talk about politics? And what is that? What becomes political? Everything that the mainstream media talks about and is controversial and says you can't talk about that, or makes you feel bad, or victimizes you, or makes an issue. It becomes political. Sports, weather, the very things that we used to sit on our porch and talk about. How's the weather, Sam? Oh, you can't talk about that because that's about climate change. And some people are climate change deniers. They don't believe in science. Oh, you can't talk about that. Can't even talk about sports now. Or science, because, you have a different science, so that's political, so therefore we can't talk about. I don't want to talk about it. We can just talk about, entertainment movies. Did you like that one? Oscars, yeah. What did the actor say? Oh, did you see that person, that famous person? Who cares? Who cares about famous people? Patheticness. I was one of them. I'm an actor. But you're an actor. You're always an actor. I mean, the world is a stage, so we're all acting, really. But these actors that we admire because they're good characters. They entertain us. They feel that they're superior over people, and they choose to be political or, repeat something that someone is telling them to say. Because, if you don't say it, then you don't work again. That's how it works. Everyone's blackmailed and everyone's, got a carrot in front of them, and they can take it away if they want. So they have to do what they're told. Otherwise. And I imagine even if they say, well, screw you, I'll just, go do something else, they probably even say, well, then we're going to do something very bad to people you care about. There's all kinds of blackmail and control. That's how Satan works. We are at war with evil right now. This is a time in history where we as human beings have to really look inside and realize you either choose good or you choose evil. That's what's at stake right now. The good outweighs the evil. There are many more people that are good in this planet. Majority of the human beings on this planet are God's children. We are good people. We are descendants of Adam and Eve, not Eve and Lucifer. And that bloodline was held to a very small group because they rule the world. Well, that's about to change because now it's God's turn and God wins. This has been World Patriot Radio. Good night.